And we're here, part two of the locker room tonight. We're talking about morality in sports, basically college sports. Getting ready to move forward. So far, we've talked about Rick Pitino. We've done a lot of talking on Bobby Petrino and just how schools are handling this now as opposed to the way they handled it 10 years ago. To move forward, we want to talk about how is it amongst professional athletes? We know how it is with the college game, but how about it with professional sports? You know, you have Tiger Woods, his little famous bumper car ride down his driveway. Brett Favre, you know, he couldn't keep his hands to himself. Steve McNair, that one strikes close to home. Lawrence Taylor, load of problems there. And Kobe Bryant seems like he just can't get it together. So I'm going to kick it over to Reggie. How do you think that this the parallels and comparison between college sports and professional sports?
I think when it comes to these, basically these guys are icons in their respective sports. It's just, how much can you take, and how good are you? Because apparently, based on how good you are, you can play your way through some of this stuff. Let's just be honest here. You got Brett Favre out there. I mean, his ordeal just kind of whizzed by us all. I mean, that was a great, media job on that, if you ask me. But you got Tiger Woods, who life just fell into a huge debacle. You got a car, it's crashed. It's just a crazy developing story. And a lot of these other guys, Kobe Bryant, he's kind of playing his way out of, stormy days, so to speak,
And it's funny that you said that, because I've always wondered this, and I wanted to get your guys' opinion on this. If that girl had not come out and said, all right, he raped me, and Kobe came out and said, I'm innocent, it was consensual, let's say somebody came out and said, yeah, I had an affair with Kobe Bryant. Would anybody have even cared? Would it have even made the news? I think that's the sole purpose it made the news. It was just because, he raped me, and that's when they wanted to turn an attention to it. Because we all know that these guys they have multiple girlfriends everywhere.
It's almost expected by pro athletes, especially, basketball and baseball players. That's what they do. In fact, Kurt Schilling was talking about the ways that he avoided it here recently. He's just started a video game company because that's how he avoided those situations. He actually stayed in the hotel room instead of going out with the guys and being frivolous. He stayed in the hotel room and played video games. So he's paying homage to that by starting a video game company. So it's almost expected that everybody did it. That's something that he said. So
I remember when arriving to San Antonio playing arena ball, we had a name for them. We call them DEM. DEM. Those were the ladies that just knew what hotel you were in. They knew they were real nice looking, and they were coming for you.
I wouldn't know anything about that. I'm sorry.
and even in college sports, and Reggie, you know about this. Mm-hmm. When we have a road trip, when we take a road trip, you leave the airport, get on the bus, do your walk through it, go to the hotel. They're there too, and we're talking about college kids. I mean, and these women are coming after you, so you got to be strong-minded.
That's an excellent kind of question. It kind of begs the question that, is it something that's learned? Is it something that these college kids, they get and then they learn it and it transitions to their professional careers? And then also you throw money at it, like we were talking the last segment, throwing money at it, and these guys they can't handle success at the college level, and then that translates to not being able to handle success in the professional level.
I mean, let's just be honest here. It's we got Brandon Jones here. He's big time college football player, All-American. With the credentials, I mean, with success comes pressure. More people come at you. You're a known name. You're a formidable force to be reckoned with in college and professional sports. It gets tough out there. It's tough for these guys to keep a clean slate. Let's just be honest. So there is something to be said about that. And once you start to gain accolades and your name gets known, you have a bullseye on you.
Well, it's funny, though, because on Israel Gutierrez, Gutierrez, he is one of the writers for the Miami Herald, brought it up and said, well, we understand that there's infidelity and it's bad, but, look at what they do. And he brought up that if Nick Saban would have been caught doing some stuff, would Alabama fire him? And it seems to be this attitude among the media like, all right, well, they had an affair, so who cares? It's not that big of a deal.
It's not the fact that they had an affair. If you have an affair with Susie, who owns the nail shop across town, that's your damn business. But you cannot, as a college coach, have an affair with a 25-year-old that you hired. I'm sorry, that's an HR nightmare. That's one of the things that you can't do.
Well, you're talking about it's an HR nightmare. The university hates that it happened because it does, put a black eye on their reputation. But Kyle, you were talking about the media. I think the media loves it. It's not necessarily that the media accepts it. I think the media promotes it.
Controversy, man.
It gains viewership, readership. It is promoted by the media, and it's a lot easier to do that in a professional forum than a collegiate forum, even.
Oh yeah, and I think a lot of it, piggybacking what Reggie said, the basketball players to me had it the worst because in football we were covered up. Women would know who I was, once the billboards came up, and in school I was a 4-time all-conference player, 2-time All-American my junior and my senior year. So by the time I gained the accolades, women kind of caught on. They didn't know who I was, but they heard my name and kind of put a name to the face. But when basketball,
Sounds like Brandon's bragging.
but seriously, I mean, this is a guy who's an all-conference player in basketball. In basketball, you have on shorts and a tank top, and they can see you. And I think it was more difficult for the basketball players from that aspect.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, it's pretty tough. Playing at UAB, I came in as an All-American, had the chance to go overseas, played a year professionally. It's a lot of pressure. You are literally walking on eggshells because you're right. Your name is in lights, so the bright lights are on, and people know who you are. Basketball being a very personable sport, you got Kobe Bryant. A lot of these guys get caught up in these scandals, and I mean, you're right. It's the same across the board, any sport. If you're a successful athlete, watch out, because trouble is coming your way.
Well, and that's what's so funny is, like you were saying to me, if you look at people like Brett Favre, Ben Roethlisberger, Steve McNair, great talent, but, they all got caught up in that life. But then you see someone like a Tim Tebow come along, where he's a straight-up guy, very honest, and it's almost like
they hate him for it.
They hate him for not living that lifestyle.
Yeah, right.
But the question that really needs to be begged is, how much of that is, there are a lot of people that say, no, they're like us, hey, guys, we don't agree with what you're doing. You need to knock it off. And how many are saying, I don't see a problem with it. So what?
I mean, I think the thing about it is, you talk about these guys, Tiger Woods, Brett Favre. Tiger Woods, who remembers that fateful bumper car ride down his driveway that ended up with a 9 upside the head? Brett Favre, he dropped those Wrangler jeans and sent a couple of pictures that came out to be a little inappropriate. Lawrence Taylor, we talking about drugs and all that mixed up. I think the thing about it is, as a professional athlete, and I hope some of you guys are listening, keep your hands to your damn self, okay? Keep your hands to yourself. If you do that, you stay out of a lot of trouble. You don't have to worry about these rape claims and all this other stuff. Because if she claims rape, regardless to whether you did it or not, for about 2 or 3 months in the media's eyes, you did it, and your approval rating's going way down.
I mean, what's that show? There was a show that came out a couple years ago. It had got so real until the NFL was like, we can't have it anymore. Was that Friday night? Like, what was the name? It was like a reality show.
There was a show that came on. It actually came on ESPN.
Okay.
And I think it was called Game Breaker.
There we go.
Game Breaker.
Well, here's the thing: is that with it being professional athletics, with being professional sports, how professional is it? That's where people talk about being professional. You have to make good decisions. That's something that you hear a lot of these coaches that kind of keep their nose clean. They preach to their collegiate athletes, guys, ladies, you have to make good decisions. Well, how are these professionals really professional when they're making just terrible decisions? It questions their professionality.
And I think a lot of it really has to do with they call them professional because they get paid to do what they do. And I think the attitude now among a lot of people is, well, it doesn't matter. Because I make you money and I do a lot, you should turn a blind eye to what I can do.
Right, and that show I was referring to was Game Breaker. I think the actors, but the show, it basically showed the life of a professional athlete from a point that's so raw until even the NFL was like, we this is too much. I mean, do people really want to see what professional athletes see every day?
And like I said, this is something that we could talk about for a long time. What we're going to do is just have a little free for all. We're going to go around the table. We're going to give you our opinions about some things in sports that maybe have moved us. We're going to start with my man Kyle Anderson and his 2 cents.
All right, this is the way I feel. Everybody knows that there's conference realignment. Texas and Texas A&M. A&M's leaving to go to the SEC. Missouri's coming to the SEC. West Virginia's leaving here. Well, now I think it's really funny that the media was saying that, oh, well, it's sad that Texas and Texas A&M and Kansas and Missouri can't play each other anymore because they're going to different conferences. All right, here's the reality check. That's crap. All right? Florida plays Florida State. Georgia plays Georgia Tech. South Carolina plays Clemson. Kentucky plays Louisville. Let's stop it. The Big 12 is the reason this is stopping because they could play each other if they want. They just don't want to because you're leaving to go to the SEC. Bottom line, let's quit making excuses. Let them play.
What were you thinking? And exactly what I'm referring to here is the New York Jets bringing in Tim Tebow as a backup. Are you serious? I mean, let's be honest here. I'm just as big a Tebow fan as anyone, but bringing in Tim Tebow to the New York Jets is like ordering a fish plate at Buffalo Wild Wings. I mean, are you serious? Listen, dear New York Jets, please contact me when you get serious about winning the championship. Thank you.
Well, with my 2 cents, basically what I wanted to talk about is we're talking about a very negative subject tonight about morality in sports, morality in athletics, and the firing of coaches and athletes and censuring of athletes. I want to talk about something positive. I want to give some props to the administration at Indiana University. Indiana University, basically what has happened is that they retained Tom Crean, their basketball coach. They've had 3 or 4 really just terrible down years. They could have easily said it's time to go. You haven't produced. It hasn't been, like we talked about earlier, that Johnny come lately. We expect results now. They knew they were in a hole. They knew that they needed a lot of help, a lot of rebuilding, and they let Tom Crean have his time and basically be successful. It's paid off this year. I'm pretty sure it's going to pay off next year. Props to the athletic department at Indiana University for keeping Tom Crean.
Indiana, baby, the mothership, the birthplace of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Yo, Noops. This one I've been waiting on. Hey, if you're listening, turn me up. If you're a fan of Bobby Petrino, do yourself a favor. You might want to slide away for a little bit because I'm about to get ready to go in on Bobby Petrino whole ass on this one. First of all, Bobby, you can do your thing, but be smart about it. My granddaddy told me a long time ago, do what you're good at. Hell, if you're a football coach, hell, coach football. If you duck hunt, shoot ducks. But if you ain't a player, don't be a player. Hell, stay at the house. First of all, if you go be a player and you'll risk life, limb, you'll risk your livelihood, first of all, make sure she look like something. Let me tell you something. You need to make sure she looks like Beyonce, but she has Oprah Winfrey's pockets, okay? Second of all, don't call her from your school-issued phone. That's number one about being a player. Second of all, Bobby, she can't work for you. You can't smash the chick that worked for you. Smash somebody across town, out of town, but not somebody that worked for you. You deserve to get fired, and I hope you don't get hired anyone else. So, Bobby Petrino, you just got the elbow of death.
Oh, I don't think anybody else can say anything on that one, guys.
We all kind of agree, I guess.
Well, I will say this much, guys. It's been fun, and as always, we're going to get out of here, and please go by our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Locker Room.
Shout out to David Croswell. Keep them coming, man.
Well, guys, we're going to get out. Reggie, Brandon, Matt, what do you say? Let's wrap it up. Morality in sports.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Catch us next time here in the locker room.
We'll see you guys.